Yeah, we are so excited about you guys being able to head down to Australia. So congratulations, and we're looking forward to it.
Thanks so much. Yeah, we are so excited. It's been a long time coming. It's been in the works for a couple of years now, actually. So yeah, it's really cool.
I read that you guys are really excited about coming to Australia, and it's something that you've been wanting to do for a long time. What is it about Australia that has made us a country that you want to come to so badly?
Yeah, there's a couple of answers to that one. So I am the guy that does all the tour management. I do a lot of the boring admin stuff for the band. And I used to live in Australia, and I met my wife over there. So I have been desperate to get the band over there for years and years. And it will be almost 12 years to the day, actually, that I had last been there when we fly over there. So, yeah, that, and also the fact we have what appears to be a really dedicated fan base that have been screaming about us trying to get over there for a little while now. So, yeah, a culmination of those two things, and a booking agent that's keen to do the work. So, yeah, the perfect storm of things for us to get over there.
So, as someone who has previously lived here, will that make you the unofficial tour guide for the rest of the band while they're here?
I don't know. I mean, I probably did a lot of things the whole group wouldn't really want to do. Our booking agent Greg, that runs United Front, he's booked in a bunch of stuff for us to do, and we're also with Patty as well, our kind of tour support. So I think they'll probably have a better idea of what to do than I will. But I've got some friends to see, some surf to catch, and a couple of things to do in Melbourne. So I'll probably separate from some of those things and go be a selfish traveller myself. But yeah, either way, there's going to be a good time had.
Now, you mentioned surfing. What are some of the other things that you like to do when you're on tour and away from the stage?
So for me, Chad and Callum are like real coffee nerds, and also our front of house engineer Ian. Like, that's the thing. The first thing we do every day is find good coffee normally. So yeah, coffee hunt, pastry hunt, and then other than that, there's not usually huge amounts of time. And obviously in Australia, the drives are so big that the time's pretty limited. But yeah, it usually involves food, coffee, or yeah, maybe something that's particularly interesting about that city that we're in. So yeah, it could be a variety of things, really.
Definitely. We just had some New Yorkers here for the Crunchyroll Festival, and they were telling us that they thought that Melbourne's coffee was the best coffee in the world, and they said they never thought they would have said that outside of New York.
Yeah, I mean, I would tend to agree there. I've drank coffee in a lot of places around the world, and I mean, yeah, I would say Melbourne really does have to be like right up there. In fact, there's a coffee guy, a coffee roaster near where I live now in Scotland, who trained as a barista in Melbourne, and now he's opened up here. And he's hands down like what I'd consider to be one of the best in Scotland, purely because of what he learned when he was over in Melbourne. So yeah, it translates well, I think.
Now, I'm going to give a bit of a shout out to a friend here, but have a good look for some Bermuda coffee while you're here in Melbourne. A friend of mine owns that company, and yeah, they bring in the beans especially for roasting. So yeah, Bermuda coffee.
Cool, I've got a note of that right there. I'll certainly check it out and add it to the list of cool coffee shops to check out.
Definitely. Now, Daniel, what's it been like for you guys for the last couple of years? Because you haven't been able to tour because of the lockdowns and because of the pandemic. What was that like for you guys, having live music taken away from you?
Yeah, pretty challenging, to be honest. So, yeah, we did the last tour before lockdown in October 2019, and the world shut down in like the March-April of 2020. And yeah, we were just off the back of, in 2019, I think we played in something like 22 countries, 21 or 22 countries, and we had really like done a ton of touring. So yeah, it felt amazing. We were like ready for a little break. 2020 we were going to hit it, and we actually had a Southeast Asia tour as well as a European tour planned in for 2020, and yeah, obviously got bombed off due to COVID. So yeah, I mean, it was really difficult because our whole band is based on like a mad chaotic live show, and for us that's a real sort of way of expressing ourselves and being able to kind of like keep the demons at bay. So yeah, it was really tough, to be honest, and for many musicians was the same, especially with extreme or alternative music. And I really noticed when we had our first shows back this year in 2022 in July, I found it really overwhelming, to be honest, like the kind of connection with people that I had missed, because it's, you know, you just get so used to not doing it and trying not to kind of trick yourself into being back on tour that might be cancelled and delayed and whatever. And so yeah, when we finally got there, it was just wild. Like I had so many chemicals running through my brain. I was just like, yeah, it was really overwhelming, and in the best way. Like it was just amazing to be reminded of why we do it, why we've stuck in there, and you know why we are continuing to do this into our 30s. So yeah, it's been really great on the other side to go back to it, as well as it being quite a challenge for the couple of years off.
Did you find that time kind of affected you mentally as well? Because I know for me, it did. I suffer from anxiety, and I didn't realise, but live music was my way of escaping every week. I'm in my 40s now, and I've been going to live shows since I was 13, and I didn't realise until that was taken away from me just how important that is in my life. Is that something that you found as well, and something that you struggled with?
Yeah, I mean, I empathise with what you're saying there big time. Yeah, I really felt that. And that's the thing, it's like, although like I'm kind of known for being in like a relatively well-known band, I'm a music obsessive. Like I'm a music fan and obsessive long before I'm a musician. Like I still go to shows every week. I listen to new bands. I listen to music podcasts all day. Like I am obsessed with it. So like having a big chunk of that taken away, and not being able to share in that community, like for me it's as much about as feeling as part of like one big connected thing as it is about seeing a band that I like. So like a blend of those things that I found really tough. I was really lucky that I have a lot of music equipment in like a home studio, so I got to create a lot of music that took a little bit of that mental stress away from not being at shows, and I could kind of feel connected in that kind of way and be really creative. So I was lucky in that regard, but mentally I did definitely feel like there was a big hole missing, like there was a big gap in my life for a couple of years. Yeah, pretty sad.
Was a lot of the music that we heard on Oxidized, was that the music that you wrote while you were at home in lockdown?
No, not actually. So Ped did all of that writing, and he had a lot of issues at hand to kind of draw on for the writing of that. I actually set up a totally separate side project in lockdown called Lift, and it's very ambient, synthwave, D&B, electronic kind of thing. Literally just a brain massage, completely self-indulgent, and nothing to do with the band. So it was quite nice to get a little bit of space from it, to be honest, and just be very self-indulgent, I suppose.
Did you ever get that feeling that you were never going to be able to tour again? I know here we kind of all thought after the first lockdown that would be it, that would be open back up, but Melbourne ended up becoming the most locked down city in the world. We were pretty much locked down and with restrictions for 2 years. Did you ever wonder whether or not live music was going to come back?
Yeah, big time. We had so many like false starts with potential tours, and then we finally got our tour booked in, and then we had a band member really ill, which meant we couldn't do the first tour back, which was meant to be in April. So after the lockdowns, we had kind of gotten our head around not being overly positive about trying to get a tour, and then we finally got our first tour back, and then there was another issue that caused that. So it did feel like that for a little while, that it was just constantly like postponed, and yeah, I mean that's one factor within it. Like it's quite sad to see, like we've been out touring in Europe now since lockdown, and it's quite sad to see a lot of venues and small bands just kind of ditching the industry because they've lost so much revenue and lost so much hope really in the last couple of years. So I feel like now is more important than ever to really just stick with it and you know, give back to the industry that, well, I've taken so much from. My whole career, my whole life is based in the music industry, so like now is the time to kind of dig the heels in and stick with it. So I'm trying to be a bit more proactive instead of reactive with it.
Being your first tour to Australia, how does that change your set list? Like, does that mean that you guys put together a little bit of a different set list because you haven't played live for these people before?
Yeah, good question. We were actually talking about that at the weekend when we were rehearsing, whether to kind of chop and change a few things to like, you know, early tour sets. And yeah, I mean, for us, it's like really making sure that people who maybe don't know the band, or people that have come along with their friend to come and see us who, you know, might be one's a fan, one's not, it's kind of really like capturing people within the first like 10 to 30 seconds. We're not disillusioned. We know there's people there for the support bands. We know there's people there that are just looking for something to do that night. They're maybe not there for us. So like, we go to every show thinking we want every single person in that room to leave with an impact from us. And so, yeah, we just kind of like tailor the set based on that ethos and make sure that there's not too much bludgeoning. We kind of know from touring that after about 45 minutes, the audience do get really fatigued, and it's a lot to take in between the lights and the actual sound of the music, and then, you know, 5 grown adults like jumping on your head. It's like, it's really, really fatiguing. So yeah, 45 minutes is about max. So it gives us like pretty good parameters to work in for how we want to like structure a set and to have like maximum impact.
You're talking of supports. You've got some amazing supports here in Australia. How much of a say did you guys have in that?
Yeah, I mean, I can't shout out the support bands enough. So yeah, basically, we had a pretty big hand in it. The Aussie music scene is like really well known, particularly at the moment, for kind of like hardcore punk extreme. There's tons of amazing bands all over the country. So we basically made a short list, and then our booking agent said, well, here's ones I would suggest, and then we kind of just went back and forward until we were happy. And then on the more local, like real local supports, we left that to the booking agent. But yeah, Arteries and Apathy, we were like, yeah, like the members of Arteries have like flown out to Europe and seen us play before, and we saw them like last month in Europe. So yeah, we're really like happy that we've got the bands that we have.
Now, aside from touring, what else have you guys been working on? It seems like it's been a little while now since we added Opaque Horizon and Glacial Plasma to our playlist here. So can we expect some new music from you guys in the future as well?
Yeah, we've got a couple of things kind of bubbling away in the background. We filmed and did a lot of kind of like content making on that last European tour. So we played the biggest festivals we've ever played. Some of the shows were to like 6,000-7,000 people. So we've got like a lot of live footage that we're putting together something with, and doing a little bit of work with the Audio Tree as well. So we've got something to do with them coming out that I can't say too much more on. And then, yeah, next record, I mean, album 4 is mostly written already, and it's just about kind of timing things right and making sure that we're like really happy with everything in the writing and the kind of like release plan. I'm sure you maybe know, but the band is very, very DIY in terms of like, we don't have management, it's us. We were the booking agents until very recently. Every element of the band is us. So it's like, we just have to be like, do the right thing.
Awesome. Well, we can't wait for the new music, and we definitely cannot wait for the tour. We are almost right out of time, Daniel, but I just wanted to give you the opportunity right now. What would you like to say to all of your fans out there before they go out to grab tickets for this tour?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know when we're going to be back, if we'll be back at all, and if you've had a gap in your life that looks about the size of the Chariot or Dillinger Escape Plan, then this might be something that you'd enjoy. You definitely won't leave having been bored and sat on your phone for 45 minutes. We'd love to see anyone. Everyone's welcome at our shows if you're a good person, and we'd love to hang and chat. And if you want to watch us play, then that's why we're there. So yeah, we're looking forward to it.